New details have come to light in the scandal over the U.S. National Security Agency's surveillance of top European politicians.
An investigation by multiple European media outlets has alleged that Danish intelligence helped the US spy on its European allies between 2012 and 2014.
I want to say in an extremely clear manner that this is not acceptable between allies. There is no room between us for suspicion. That's why we're waiting for complete clarity. We've asked our Danish and American partners to issue all the information on these revelations and on past events, and we are waiting for those answers.
I completely agree with what Emmanuel Macron just said. This is a matter we have already discussed with the NSA, and we haven't changed our position concerning our previous discussions.
Big challenge that we have today between the EU and the US in the digital space has to do with data protection. But I mean, saying that the United States is trying today to influence the outcome of election in the European Union, for example, or to try to influence EU politics, is a very broad question, might be a little bit far-fetched. However, we have seen recently that private company can be capable of fetching data from big digital companies to try to understand and analyze voter behaviors and ultimately influence the outcome of an election. So that was the case with the Cambridge Analytica scandal. And Cambridge Analytica was a company that used Facebook as a way to gather data from Facebook users, try to understand their voting behavior, and allegedly created models that influenced the outcome of the American election back in 2016 and also the Brexit vote later on. So that is obviously a big concern for every person when it comes to thinking about the way our private data is being used and handled online. Now, this is even more concerning when you put into consideration the fact that a person like Steve Bannon was part of the Cambridge Analytica project, and Steve Bannon was also part of the Trump campaign, and later on part of the Trump cabinet. So we have a person that was part of the American administration, the American government, essentially, and prior to that, or at the same time, was also part of a project that were using digital information and data fetched from European users to influence the outcome of a European vote. So from the perspective of a European citizen, this is obviously a big problem. And this data protection issue is one of the biggest issue in the digital space today between the European Union and the United States.
So if you consider the internet and its digital world as the extension of its physical counterpart, the answer to that question is quite clear. Just like you can go to the mall to buy goods, you can go online and do the same thing. And unfortunately, just like there are offenses committed offline, there are offenses that are committed online. So there is really no reason why the internet should be a lawless zone. Another element that goes in favor of the protection of the interests and rights of the internet users is the existence of huge, powerful non-governmental enterprises, such as Facebook and Google, for instance, that has the mean and the access to collect and process the data of the internet users that are spread online.
We do that by coming together as Europeans. We are very good in business to business, so we know what the issues are and we also know what the solutions are. And we have a functioning democracy, I think much better than in the USA, for example, to make sure that there is structures who deal with this. For example, a couple of very interesting projects, Gaia X, that is, for example, by the European Commission, who heard and was informed from all society groups of society that this privacy is of course a big issue. So they set up a program, Gaia X, that will deliver a European safe data space where everybody can work in a good way. I mean, we are not afraid of competition, but even in the US and everywhere else, everybody is afraid if there are some groups who are indeed moving into some kind of an hegemonic position and then abusing all this.
Le vol des données, c'est évidemment inacceptable, mais il y a deux sortes de données. Il y a les données par de grandes sociétés que l'on connaît, Google, Facebook, Twitter, et ces données sont volées dans un but commercial. Mais beaucoup plus dangereux et beaucoup plus insidieux, c'est le vol d'État, c'est-à-dire le vol fait par le gouvernement ou par des agences dépendantes du gouvernement américain. Et là, ça met en danger évidemment nos sociétés, les firmes, les associations, les partis politiques, les syndicats même. Donc, il était temps que l'Europe soit sous ses gardes et réagisse. Parce que c'est vraiment la position de l'Amérique, elle est vraiment non pas comme amie, mais comme un véritable suzerain. Elle oublie qu'elle est un ami pour traiter les pays européens comme de véritables vassaux. C'est bien que l'Europe fasse un peu attention à ce que fait l'Amérique. Et pour ça, d'ailleurs, elle a très bien mis au point le RGPD, le règlement général de protection des données, afin de protéger tout citoyen et toute société européenne.